Ok, chúng ta tiếp tục nhá. Này phải vừa tắt stream đi để bật lại xem nó đỡ hơn không. Lần này một tín hiệu vẫn kém thì chịu thôi. Cái cách. Ok, tiếp.
I only wish life could be as leisurely as this.
Lại không có điểm di chuyển rồi.
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems. Thánh địa của người giữ lời thề. Đây là hô kinh thế. Dương xịn. Con quái trông khá hùng hổ đấy. Mà dương xịn cái kia này không thể bỏ qua được đâu.
Order guide you. Gather.
Here comes the catch.
Vẫn lỗi. YouTube thì vẫn bị hôm nay vẫn bị chưa nhận đủ video rồi. Này chịu rồi. Cái cách rồi. Có đành vậy.
Oh, what a cute treasure coffin.
Có xương nữa này. Ngon. 2 xương liền. Quá thơm. Đây cái cảnh này. Điểm di chuyển này. Sau đi lại cho dễ.
Stabilize.
Cắm ngang à? Không cắm dòng đây được à? Không ra được. Chơi giải đấu trong gương à? Thôi. Sao đi?
Any leads?
Nope. Diddly squat. No. It feels like we're sitting on a powder keg that could go off at any second. Oh, I hate this feeling.
So, you guys didn't find anything either?
Not loving the word either.
I questioned a few Ratniki and eventually narrowed my investigation down to one, almost as if he knew someone was on to him. Either that or
He's been biding his time for a while now.
No idea. Since regaining his body, he seems to have...
All we can do now is hope that Aino and Anefa turn up some leads. Darn it, Rerir. If you've got the guts, come face me one-on-one!
Em mày gáy thế. Đến rồi bạn rồi đấy, vừa gáy xong.
He's actually here? I didn't mean it, I swear!
Em gáy đi thôi, anh đừng sợ.
It's coming.
Anh
Silver
đừng dọa
Moon
em.
Hall. The Lady Kuthar might be in danger.
Let's get over there, quick!
Mirin đang đi bắt em Lumina rồi.
Kuthar!
Why is he attacking the damsel elect? What's going on?
No time for questions. Stop him!
Nào rồi. Mày đánh cho biết. Này mới có một tay nhé.
This is insane.
Mày gì vậy? Đâu ra?
Get Kuthar out
Vừa
of
gáy
here!
phát nó xuất hiện luôn đấy.
On it.
Rất nhiều. Ngon luôn. Ủa,
Look where your feeble light has gotten you.
bóc cái ma này.
Now you shall plunge into darkness.
Nó bóc trên tay ra.
Lindis, soon I will find a way.
Watch out!
Ủa. Không mua được không? Sao? Chết nha. Để ý ăn một nhất tự kỷ của anh ý to nhá. Anh ý như phi re ấy nhỉ? Thức tỉnh sức mạnh à? Bắn như phi re luôn, sợ thật. Hai đứa pha đến rồi. Không.
Find them, even if it means turning this place to ashes.
Rồi. Tí nữa thì bị anh này cho đánh cám đấy. May là em kia kịp chuyển thời đấy.
That was too close.
Nguy hiểm quá.
We barely made it out of there alive. What's that guy's deal? How'd he get so crazy strong?
He's a threat to this entire nation. I doubt his strength could even be measured by conventional standards.
I have a question. When me and Anefa showed up, we saw him chasing after this lady like he wanted her dead. We weren't there for the whole thing either.
Yeah, we didn't see how it all started. It all escalated so quickly.
Kuthar, can you shed any...
Kuthar. Cross-checking database.
Wait, she's the moon goddess? Oh, no.
There are many reasons why people might worship the moon. I've never met that person before. But there was no mistaking his deep why he holds me in such contempt. I can...
Kuthar.
There are many potential motives. For instance, you help the traveler escape his... It is also possible that he covets the Kuvaki inside you. But right now, devising a counter strategy should be our #1 priority. The likelihood of this location being discovered is close to...
A counter strategy? We don't stand a chance against an enemy like this.
Em này vui nhỉ, có thêm em này vào nó đỡ căng thẳng.
Surely our only option is to run. He's not gonna chase us to the end of the world, right? So as long as we can sneak... No, I can't say that. Come on, Yehoda. This is serious stuff. You can't suggest we all just chicken out.
Running is our only option.
Chạy thôi.
Huh?
Đồng ý luôn.
You seem surprised. But what other choice do we have?
Well, I mean, yeah, but still,
it's not too late. I can distract him, so you have plenty of time to make...
Wait, what? You're gonna act as bait?
Doesn't that make sense? I'm the one he's after. A coyote doesn't stop for bypassers while it's howling at the moon. What is it, Loma? The Frost Moon Scions have already grown accustomed to life without their goddess.
We can't just roll over and let him get away with it.
Yeah. We can't just call it quits after every... Besides, she pretty much saved my life back there. If I just ditched her now, I'd never forgive myself.
We can't overlook that you have saved our lives multiple times now.
Rerir's true objective remains unclear. Even if we were to sacrifice Miss Kutar, there's no guarantee he would stop.
Kutar, I know why you left the Frost Moon Scions. They would make self-centered wishes, force you to accept him. If it were me, I might have walked away too. But I believe that time can change everything. After much reflection, I've realized that any relationship based on need is purely transactional. You were born here, and now you've returned.
Thank you, Lauma. But my power is on the wane. I'm afraid I will be very well then.
Both times you saved us, we were transported across great distances in an instant. Is that one of your powers as the moon goddess?
It is, but I find it very draining. I barely managed to pull it, rejected by the world. My power is dwindling, like a lake, cut off from its source.
What do you mean, rejected by the world?
The 3 moons belonged to the ancient bygone era in which they came into being. From the moment I was born, the 3 moons are not one and the same. Yet moonlight has a way of blending together. Each can reflect the other, but this method of recovery is painfully...
It's the wild hunt!
Even faster than we expected. We'll have to finish this conversation later.
See how those wild hunt creatures are running away from us. They're likely just a scouting party, which means Rerir won't be far behind.
Then what are we waiting for? Let's get the heck out of here!
For the everlasting forest, the poor lost land.
The long sleep beckons.
They just keep coming! This is driving me nuts!
Rerir's closing in on us. We need to pick up the pace.
There's too many of them! And this time, we can't fall back on Kutar's help to escape! If this goes on much longer...
Beware the creatures of the night. Close your eyes. Observe. Night falls. Close your eyes.
With one heart, we pray. Lead.
Look! The rainbow!
Installation chamber deployed. Annihilation mode.
Observe. The night comes. Close your eyes. Night falls. Be silent.
Steady now.
Baka. Anh pha minh nhau ra thế. Nhau ra pha minh thế. Đừng cùng của sói. Cái này TikTok là lồng mấy hiệu ứng giật chứ.
What's the matter? Bit off more than you could chew?
Đấy ngay.
Hold up! Uncle Varka!
Varka.
You're back from Amsvartnir? Whoa! You're Varka? Grand Master of the Knights of Favon?
We could save the intros for later. Right now, let's get you all out of this hellhole. Follow me.
Oh, is that where I think it...
That's the one. Come on, move! There's no...
Hết thời gian rồi có thằng này đến cứu. Cứ phải đi đến nó thịt mình đâu. Cứ dọa thế thôi chứ. Đại bản doanh của Varka.
Wow! Where are we? This is so...
Well, that goes without saying. This is the Knights of Favonius' meeting place in Nodcry, and a contact hub for the Northern Intelligence Network. AKA, the black market of intel. No matter what faction you're with, it's the place to buy and sell information. Their head has an expeditionary force on foreign soil. Working with them has offered... Anyway, where were we? Folks from Nodcry should be pretty familiar with me by now. But I believe this is the first time we've met. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Varka, Knight of Boreas, and Grand Master of the Knights of Favonius.
We've heard all about you. You look way younger than Paimon expected. But definitely had that...
Well, I'm no spring chicken. Just not showing my age yet. Definitely feeling some of that back pain today, though. Rushed back from Amsvartnir without a wink of sleep, only to get right into another fight with that freshly revived maniac.
Another? You mean you fought him before?
Yep. He wasn't nearly as strong back then, but he was still a formidable foe. I brought some of the knights along to give him a little surprise, but he saw us coming from a mile up. My squad took heavy injuries, and I barely made it out alive myself. We knew it might have been our last chance, so we staked everything on it. But still, it wasn't enough to stop him. I tried tracking him down afterwards, but he didn't leave a trace. Even in his unhinged mental state, he's as cautious as any trained operative. So, I decided to come find you. And as luck would have it, turned up to find you being ambushed by the wild...
Is that why he's been frantically absorbing Kuvaki these past few days? Because he sees you as a threat?
Maybe I'm part of the equation, but even if I weren't, I'm sure he'd still be gathering power. He's clearly working up towards something.
Note to self, Uncle Varka's strength rating officially upgraded.
Guess it's my turn to ask questions now. So, what exactly has been happening in Nodcry? Why has the Wild Hunt returned in humanoid form? And why is it after you?
That's a long story, but I'll try to make it quick.
Wow, I had no idea so much had happened. Sounds like you guys have really been through it. So, the Kutar is actually a Fatui Harbinger. And all this Wild Hunt activity in Nodcry is the work of the Rerir of Solnari. That's a lot to take in. Need some time to wrap my head around it all.
I'm truly sorry, Mr. Varka. You stood with us against the Wild Hunt, and did everything you could to stop it from escalating into a full-blown catastrophe. And then...
You've got nothing to apologize for, Miss Moonchanter. You can plan 100 steps ahead and still slip up. That's just life. And, to be perfectly honest, I can't say I'm surprised. For all the times, but now that a new variable has come into play, fate may well take a different course.
A new variable?
Who else? And in a strange way, I think his resurgence might not be an entirely bad thing. That said, while I know is explaining everything just now...
You mean about our mystery ally?
That's right. From what you've said, not only did they lead you straight to some key files, they also... I don't know who or what could pull something like that off. Heck...
I hadn't heard the story about those files. Would you mind repeating their titles for me?
Wild Hunt Phenomena Log, a Nodcrian Ratnik's Field Journal, and Kuvaki Survey Log.
No, still doesn't ring a bell.
Another dead end. Guess all we can do now is hope still. It's safest to assume they won't be intervening again. Your intel also explains something else I've been wondering about. The reason I led my team to Amsfarnir was because we'd had but once we looked into it, it turned out to be a red herring. I don't know who was behind it, but clearly it served its purpose. I doubt it's by chance that he happened to make his comeback while my attention was diverted. And from everything you told me, it sounds like his scheming began well before his return. But is it even possible that he orchestrated all of this by himself?
Đúng rồi, một mình nói không thể tính toán ra được. Có thằng Dr. Ray đầu ấy. Thằng rerir đầu óc thì không hoàn chỉnh, cơ thể không hoàn chỉnh, đầu óc thì đang nhiễu loạn đúng không? Làm sao tính toán đến mức này được?
The Moon Maiden and the Raker of Solnari, Nodcry of all places. The way everything is unfolding, it can't be a coincidence.
So, what do we do now? Got any?
Right now, we've got at least 3 things to consider. First, we need to figure out how to take down rerir. If we can't beat him in a straight-up fight, to my knowledge, the bulk of Nodcry's fighting force is already gathered here. But even with everyone united, we're still no.
What if there was a way to tap into a new power of our own?
How so?
Have you thought of something, Columbina?
3 moons once watched over this world. The Eternal Moon was the... They say that back then, the 3 moon goddesses wielded immense power. Enough to shape the workings of the world itself. I now bear the Frost Moon's power, and the...
Hold on. Are you suggesting...
The iridescent moon, the last piece.
That's right. If we can find the iridescent moon's marrow, I will be...
The 3 moons are said to stir the tides and illuminate all things.
According to my analysis, the solution is feasible. However, it is subject to...
I know a way, but... We will need to visit the Fatui's Experimental Design Bureau.
The Experimental Design Bureau?
Yes. I must...
It's a long way from here to the Experimental Design Bureau. There's a high chance you'll be spotted. You shouldn't go alone.
Then that's settled. Next up, our second priority. Somehow, as you saw for yourselves, when he was still in his wild hunt form, everything he did was for the sake of recovering his body and resurrecting himself. His first act since then, after laying... People's obsessions often reveal their greatest vulnerabilities. There must be a reason. The wild hunt has plagued Nodcry for centuries now. If we want to stop...
It's true. We still know. If Kuthar hadn't given us that lead, we wouldn't even know his name.
But where would we even start? I doubt even the Intel Queen of Nodcry has a clue, and she hasn't...
Oh? That's a rather hasty conclusion for someone who's so painstakingly meticulous when it...
Ah, she hurt me!
Boss! What are you doing here?
I'm now asking myself the same question. I received a letter from a humble knight of Favonius, requesting a meeting to discuss a major business deal. But it looks like this humble knight had something else in mind.
Details, details. Miss Sneffer, the important thing is that you've arrived at the perfect time. Since his failed ambush, I've been racking my brains trying to come up with a plan to fight rerir. We can't do this without the Curatorium. But I knew it'd be a tough job to win you over.
Wait a sec. How did you... Didn't you say this is meant to be the Knights of Favonius' meeting spot? And a contact...
You really think he could have gotten settled in Nodcry without my help? Besides, I'm the one...
Allow me to introduce the current head of the Northern Intelligence Network. If it's intel you're after, she's your...
Please spare me the flattery. Let's cut to the chase. Well, this certainly qualifies as an
So you're just going to sit this...
Why should I get involved? What could possibly be in it for me?
What if we told you We can't do the...
Oh? Then I'd say, you'd better
I can't put a price on something like this. If you insist on compensation, I will pay.
You just don't give up, do you? Too bad. I know you well enough to know you can't afford my prices. The riskier the job, the more it'll cost. And a moon chanter's stipend isn't exactly generous. Unless you're planning to start.
Boss, just a thought. If they come up short, maybe you can take the difference out of my next few paychecks.
Trừ lương luôn hả? Em này
Things got really dangerous during the fight with Rerir. If this girl hadn't saved me, I'd be ley line fodder by now. If there's any way we can make this...
This is why I'm always telling you never accept. You have to be careful who you get involved with, or you invite all kinds of misfortune. Very well. Yehoda, Flynn's. That fragment that Rerir was after.
Of course.
Let me borrow it. I need it to follow up on...
Wait, you had...
Shh. This is top secret information.
I get it. We all have things we'd rather keep to ourselves. Plus, and that brings me to the third and final item. We need to find a way to distract him. I'm in for this part, no matter what. Anyone
count me in too?
Come off it, you two. Quit playing heroes. I'm way ahead of you here. Nefa did a scan of the moon goddess's Kuvaki signature, and we're gonna use it to make once they're ready. We'll deploy the decoys across Nogcry. So as long as the rest of you keep moving, he won't catch on to your scent and won't...
I like it. Genius.
No biggie.
All right then. We'll split into 3 teams. Once your team has finished their mission.
Giải tán, ai về nhà đấy, mỗi người một việc. Chia ra là 3 team hả? Hay chứ nhỉ? Bên này vẽ hình cute chưa? Colomina, Lumin cả Paimon. Game cute thật.
Lady Damselat. Wait, and you two? We've been doing our best to mind our own business lately. But if you're just gonna...
You really think that...
We're not looking for any trouble.
Do I need to remind you that you're still a wanted few out of consideration for our former ties and the crisis we're all...
Let them in.
Cho vào đi.
But...
Are you going to make me repeat that?
No, my lady.
Sandrone seems to be in a good mood. Must be maintenance day.
So tell me, to what do I actually, before you answer that? Just so we're clear, we're not colleagues in...
I promise it's nothing big.
It seems like you've gotten the wrong idea here. The only reason I let you in was because I was bored. It seemed like a way to kill some time and whatever miscalculations I may or may not have made in the past.
I'd like to speak with Arlecchino.
What?
Huh? You mean the knave?
I'd like to speak with Arlecchino.
No, she's not. Once the work on this facility was completed, she went back with the Rooster and Regrator. The only ones in Nodcry are me and...
Rerir is hunting me. If I'm going to face him, I'm... Is that a no, then?
As if I need reminding. I was this close to settling things with him before someone decided to whisk me away to the weird...
Have you held any tea parties lately?
Tea parties? Yeah, obviously. You don't seriously think we'd pack it all in just because you aren't here. If anything, they've been more eventful than ever. Just me, Arlecchino, and a bunch of insolent and sensitive guests who won't stop asking where you've gone. Oh, they've been a real joy.
I bet you served them the worst tea you have. Just like you used to do to me.
Who cares about how good the tea is when there's no one around to drink it? I keep first Rosaline, now you. I'm running out of people who can make me laugh. Honestly, what could be more ridiculous than the multi-centenarian goddess, who's only ever had the plain herbal tea she received as offerings?
Bạn thần linh lỏ à?
You'd always brew a different type of tea for me each time.
Đúng rồi đấy.
Well, duh. Why else? Watching you squirm was practically my only form of entertainment. Oh, yeah. And Capitano sometimes used to bring Tartaglia around. Well, I guess we are overdue for a get-together. Have Favronia pass a message to Arlecchino for me. It's time for tea. Will suffice.
Pass along a message for me, too, if you would. My body cannot contain the marrow of 2 moons, so I'll be leaving one of them in her—
Excuse me? Who said you were on the guest list? If my tea meant that much back when you were under the Tsaritsa's protection, no one would have dared come at you so openly.
But that protection didn't come for free, and I just got tired, that's all. It brings back memories from the old days, when I was still worshipped as the moon goddess. Centuries on, it may be a different group of people, but
I figured you'd leave eventually. You didn't have as much of a reason to stay as I do. The Tsaritsa gave you shelter and protection, but that was it. Nothing more, nothing less. I get why you left. And frankly, but if you keep hanging around with this riffraff, the next time we cross paths, we might be enemies for real.
Đúng rồi. Trong lạnh ngoài nóng.
Well, guess that's our cute little...
That might be your plan. But it sounds like someone else wants you to...
Huh?
See for yourselves.
Họ ra đến rồi. Rerir đến rồi.
My lady, it's the Wild Hunt. A horde of monsters is headed...
Another uninvited guest trying to crash my tea party. Clear the area. I'll handle this.
Lấy hết đồ chơi ra đi.
Wait, what? You want us to leave you here by yourself?
You'll be lucky to make it out of this alive. Go on, get out of here. You may have stopped Polonia from crushing him last time, but I've made sure that won't happen again.
Thôi đi thôi.
Stay and watch if you want, but it'll be at your own risk. You're not flagged. Don't tell me what to do. Look, if you're leaving, make it quick, or you'll just stare all you want, Columbina.
I know.
This is exactly why you shouldn't hang around with those people. All their melodrama and sentimental nonsense is rubbing off on
Hay
me.
phết đấy. Thì đúng kiểu trong đóng ngoài lại. Nói á miệng đấy thôi, trong tâm thì rất tốt.
Come on then, Mr. Rerir. Let's pick up where we left off. It's your Wild Hunt monstrosities versus my beautiful creations. Let's see who comes out on top.
Oscar 1, lock on to target.
Bắn tôi luôn à? Cái thì 100 con đã này. Cái thì 100 con đã. Bắt đây, bắt rồi. Lại sang con robot khá to hơn rồi.
That's it. Keep them pinned down. Don't let them get near.
Giờ súng nhắm luôn. Một súng kiểu liền, một súng đại liền, rồi súng nhắm luôn. Sáu à? Con thua rồi, nó khổ to như lúc nãy. Bắn người thôi. Mày chỉ chưa đi em khác thôi, bắn là con thua rồi.
Rotate out. Deploy all backup units. Get in there and hold the line.
Rồi, xuống đi đây. Súng vé này à?
They're more tenacious than I thought. Whatever. This is where the real fun begins. Don't worry. Once this is over, I'll put it all back together again. I promise.
Nó khổ to đi em ơi, khổ quá. Con thua đâu.
Finally, the rerir himself. Time to... Huh? Where'd he go? Uh-oh.
Đây rồi. Cái anh rerir đừng có bát. Câu chuyện lần này bọn mình vẫn thi nhau. Bọn mình vào. Anh rất đẹp trai, rất tình và đẹp trai.
Polonia, get him!
Polonia, cái gì?
I've Polonia again since our last encounter, and uploaded every last scrap of your data. So let's finish this once and for...
She's not here.
Không có ở đây.
Where did she go?
Hey, over here, you big...
Không thể bật tâm.
Cursed moon. Go. Keep searching. She cannot have gotten far.
Cố đánh à? Áo. Anh đã không muốn đánh rồi, cố ý tự à? Nefer mặt ra suy nghĩ này. Ghét vậy. Mấy cái hình yêu nhỉ? Cái lượng cái đội ngũ sáng tạo của bọn GenShin này nó vẫn đẳng cấp thật.
So this is your method for
Good deduction. But it's cool.
Whoa! First time I've ever been in here. Oh, I guess this must be Sumero decor? That's where Boss is from. And that nice shopkeeper who sold me my treasure.
I'm not sure exactly what you've got planned, but
Whenever we wish. But for some reason, I've never faced rerir myself. But from what you've told, I, on the other hand, am just an ordinary businesswoman. Our paths should never have crossed, yet
if you ask me, you're about as far from ordinary as it gets.
once I take a job, there's no backing out. Still, I have to ask myself, and also how to make sure I come out of this alive. Death is the one thing we can take for granted. It is the great equal.
Come on, Boss. Lighten up. Quit talking about death. It's bad luck.
For once, I agree with you. When you're up against a foe like rerir, is there anything I can do to help?
That won't be necessary. I've already made up my mind. Time.
Fine.
That shady merchant who sold you an overpriced treasure compass the other day.
Come on, boss. You're pulling my leg again. In what way is she shady? She showed up when I was completely lost and sold me a neat little gadget that was... Anyway, I know who you're talking about.
Okay.
Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Con dân Sumeru cả. Con dân của trí thức có khác. Con đi lừa đảo.
Hey, aren't...
What is it? What's the big rush? You dragged me out of a dream where I was literally swimming in Mora. I'm charging double my usual attendance fee. See, look how easygoing she is. After that rude awakening, she could have completely snapped at us. But instead, she...
Dory, Sangama Bay? I never would have pictured you two doing business together.
If you want to make it big and not cry, it's all about connections. Lady Nefer just so happens to have a lot. It was back when I first arrived in Notcry. My trusty assistant, the genie in my lamp, had an adverse reaction to the Kuvaki and fainted. And wouldn't you know it, that's when I suddenly find myself in a lifer. I've been giving her a 30% discount off all of my goods ever since. Now, so that no one here feels left out, I'm willing to extend a 20% discount to fellow friends of Boss Nefer. Plus, any other friends you send my way will enjoy 10% off. What can I say? The great Lord Sangama Bay is nothing. So, let me guess. You've run into some trouble. I've got everything you could possibly need. And the more you buy, the more...
You guessed correctly. What have you got in the way of survival gear?
The one type of gear I've never been short on. What are you looking for? A jetpack fresh from the Academia's labs? At the very least, I need to know what kind of opponent you're dealing with here. If even you're worried about staying alive, it must be pretty serious.
What if I told you it's someone with the power to bring a nation to its knees?
Is that so? Then we really are talking top-shelf treasures. I don't have it.
Your supplier?
A powerful woman, make no mistake. I can't reveal her identity, but luckily for you, I hear she's planning to visit Notcry in the near future. If you're willing to wait, I can ask her when she's here. Can't say exactly how long it'll be, though.
Alice.
Then, let me put it another way. What would you do if you encounter...
Of course not! I have a handy little trinket from one of my generous suppliers, which... Hold on. What exactly are you getting at? No. This is for my personal use only!
Let's just say I'm borrowing it, all right? Favors are the worst kind of debt to owe.
Fine. You can borrow it for 5 days. No, make that 3. And for every extra hour after that, I'm charging you 1,000,000 more. Deal?
Deal.
Đồ của Alice thì chất lượng rồi.
What a way to start the day. Now, was there anything else you wanted? Or can I go back to bed now?
Tay phải rất chán đời, đi nha.
That will be all. Take care now. Don't trip up on your way back, friend.
See you later! You're my favorite shopkeeper.
Favorite shopkeeper.
Excellent. Everything is well and truly ready. The ceremony can now begin. After initiating the ceremony, your minds will follow me wherever I go. So remember, don't be... Now then, let us peer into the rerir of Solnari's past.
Ta đưa mấy mảnh xác của rerir vào đây, dùng mảnh xác đấy để đọc tiếp cả. Bá đạo thế.
I made it. I don't recognize this style of architecture. Must be Conrian. Simple furnishings, table and chairs. It's a more ordinary house than I might have expected. Looks like the fearsome Raker of Zolnari came from surprisingly humble beginnings. Unless this passed for luxury in Conria. Unlikely. It was said to be a very prosperous nation in its heyday. Anyway, okay.
Hi, Rerir. Since you're working extra hours tonight, I thought I'd keep myself busy by checking out that new kebab shop. I've heard good things about it. I'll test it out, and if it's as good as everyone's saying, let's go back together sometime. P.S. New stash from the Universitas Magistrorum. I brought some goodies home. A few teacups and a pin rack.
They didn't sign their name, but they must have been close. Sounds like they were living together.
I went over to Joseph's for drinks today. They have a fine collection, but I went alone. Thelindis was tied up with something and couldn't make it. Joseph asked why I came alone, but I didn't really have an answer. He then went on to ask about other things. But if he invites me again...
Thelindis. That's the same...
Crane imports keep falling. If things don't pick up, we'll soon be back to meat and mushrooms only. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of that new type of mushroom everyone's been into lately. Didn't it start out as a lab-grown variety? I heard it's even mildly corrosive. I don't care if it's an impressive feat of alchemy. That just isn't the kind of thing I like to eat.
Grain has to be imported, and they're eating a diet of mostly meat and mushrooms. That would explain why they use so much stone in their buildings. They even use alchemically modified strains for food. Seems like the people of Conria don't have many options when it comes to dining.
I've just about saved up enough now. Time to buy it.
Making a big purchase. He really is a professional. No wonder he's so good at covering his tracks. Despite what he's become, it seems like he's retained certain habits, at least in this regard. Did Rerir rip it out himself?
Before I met you, I was convinced that my heart, the burial place of a fallen moon. A withered, windless grove where the waters rested forever unwritten. It was you who helped me see that my heart hadn't entirely withered away.
This is just trivial sentimentality from the looks of it. Why would he go to the trouble of hiding that? The burial place of a fallen moon.
Rerir, over here.
That's left.
Dane! Oh, and, Vedelson here?
Hello there, Rerir. You need not address me so formally outside of court.
He doesn't get that much free time, so I invited him over for a drink. Even the court prophet deserves...
Well, I'm flattered.
So, what are we discussing today?
Hey, don't look at me. As far as I see it...
Come on, don't give us that.
Didn't you say you were... Who'd have thought the great Twilight Sword was an even greater gossip?
I just didn't expect you to be the first one to settle down and get married, that's all.
Yeah. If you told me that a few years ago, I wouldn't have believed you either.
So, are you planning to come clean about your job then? I'm guessing you still haven't told her.
Sure, I'll have to tell her at some point. But I'll need to pick the right time.
Come on, stop being such a pessimist. For all you know, she could be thrilled. A member of the King's Guard. Quite the cover story. Does the king himself even know?
Of course he does. Anyway, enough about me.
Me? Same old, same old. Nothing much to... Huh? What's up, Ved?
It's nothing. Vedifulnir. Daneslif's elder brother. And yet, despite the gulf between us, he seems to have something to say about me. Does he even know me? Does he see me as a friend of his brother? Or just another of the Vinster King's blades? Why did he react so strongly?
Brown, curly hair and brooding blue eyes. Perfectly normal. No different from anyone else. As frightening as this monster is in the present, there's something even more unsettling about...
Cao thật nhỉ? Người Khanderia này cô nào cũng xinh.
Felindis? You're back early.
Nhiệm vụ trước gặp một em
Our
ở
equipment's being
Khanderia
serviced
xinh
today,
nhỉ?
so I got off earlier than usual. How's your day been?
Đương nhiên là cũng sẽ to thôi.
Why the long
Số phận chung của
face?
bọn Khanderia này rồi.
Is something the matter? How's your
Ủa, mấy thằng này có mắt hình Khanderia
Went for a drink with Dane and the others after.
Isn't that a good thing?
Mắt hát này.
Vedifulnir showed up today too.
Ah, Mr. Vedifulnir. Yes, I've heard of him. They say that everything...
He overheard Daneslif mention that I'd recently proposed and seemed to have an issue.
So, you're worried? You can be such a child sometimes, rerir. We're nobodies. Why would the visionary be concerned about us? I'm sure someone in his position has much bigger fish to fry. You worry too much, rerir. We've been together for ages now, and everything's been going...
So, you do remember. Tell me then. What's your answer?
Like I said, I need some time to decide. You can't just rush into things like this. We may be nobodies in the grand scheme of things, but if we want things to work out, we've still got to plan ahead.
All right. Take your time.
Kiểu chờ đợi rất là mệt mỏi nhỉ?
Nobody's.
Càng chờ đợi lâu này nó càng sinh ra nhiều nghi ngờ.
Sounds about right. In the eyes of people like Vedifulnir and Daneslif, what do we matter? Can someone whose gaze is so fixed on a far-flung future even see the present clearly? Besides, the dynasty's fate rests with the king and his inner circle. Meanwhile, every idea they come up with and every decision they make, it affects everything. These days, the king is lost in his research, and the purge of the opposition tried to speak out, but nothing came of it. And I'm under no illusions as to why. Because we eliminated them and got rid of their bodies. A man can have 1,000 reasons to carry a sword, but there are few good excuses to use it. Yet the king has never even... What becomes of someone who kills on another's behalf? Can he ever find true peace?
Thể hiện nội tâm đang bị đánh đứt đấy. Được. Đấy, kể chuyện ít rất là sáng tạo thế chứ.
Felindis.
Một chiếc gương thể hiện tâm trạng. Chứ như game gì à? Sáng nay chơi GenShin Zero kể chuyện toàn bằng chữ không?
It's nothing. You were right. Fate has never smiled. There's no reason we can't keep living happily together.
See? You just need to stay positive, rerir. I can feel your warmth, your breath. You're right, just seeing you makes me happy in a way I can't explain. And...
You're right, Felindis.
That's better. Getting caught up about things like this will only ruin our evening. Speaking of which, All set for the ball tonight?
You go ahead. I just have a few things to take care of.
Even busier than the big shots, huh? Fine, I'll go get started. But
Relax. Seriously though, you drive a hard bargain. You're really gonna leave my proposal hanging and still expect me to take you to the ball?
well, that goes without saying. I already told everyone I'd be coming with a dance partner. Besides, they're two completely different things. Let's take it one thing at a time, all right?
All right. White outfit it is.
It seems like rerir was deliberately hiding his ties to the intel. He clearly doesn't want his would-be fiancé to know about his other life. That... Who'd have thought we were in the same line of work? Let's dig a little deep.
Ồ, con này đang là phản chiếu song vương của rerir này. Ồ, hay nhỉ. Con này phơ nó vào tâm trí thằng này thì hiện tại cũng là mang hình dáng thằng này luôn. Được đấy, làm tiểu tiết rất sáng tạo đấy. Hay. Đi xa nó đi xa này. Được, hay đấy. Rất để ý với tiểu tiết. Tốt. Thêm một điểm cộng. Từ đi đâu đây?
Our last operation was a resounding success, and all thanks to you, rerir of Solnari. In total,
after all these years since the dynasty's fall, so many of them still linger on.
Indeed, it cannot be denied. Yet it was destiny that the Crimson Moon should be overcome by the eclipse, and that His Majesty, the all-seeing Vinster King, now got Conria has no further need for a dead moon. But alas, there will always be those who refuse to see the truth.
That's not entirely true. Much about the Crimson Moon era was worthy of remembrance. And that's exactly why they keep trying to see it restored. Many of its secrets remain unsolved to this day. As it happens, that's precisely the field of study my partner is devoted to.
You still haven't told her what you really do.
Where would I even start? How do you tell someone that you're one of the king's hand-picked executioners?
You didn't choose this life, any more than I did. Orphans like us don't get a...
But I'll sure as heck be the one to pay for it. Speaking of which, we need to be more rigorous. Someone, it seems, has strong opinions about my future plans. Most likely my marriage in particular.
Your concerns are not unfounded. They've taken out many of our colleagues these past few years, and for that very... Take care, rerir of Solnari. I look forward to toasting you at your wedding.
Thanks, Thorkel. Thelindis, I never wanted to keep this from you. You're the last person I would ever want to lie to. But that's exactly why I can't tell you everything. The moonlit dynasties are a thing of the past. Yet even now, with the sun shining high in the sky, there were those who would call... Could that be why Vedalfnir held back? Or was it because of some court? I have to get a clear answer from him. No matter what happened.
Rerir seems to be very concerned by Vedalfnir's reaction. Vedalfnir and Dainsleif, the visionary. I've investigated this whole area now. Should I try somewhere else? Wait a second. What's this black smoke?
Ồ, như vậy.
So, he's late after all. Just you wait, Rerir.
Are you waiting for someone, ma'am?
Nhìn được cả câu chuyện của thằng
Could I tempt you into buying some flowers?
Vô ý thế nhỉ?
Oh, sure. Pick me out a pretty bunch if you would.
Thank you.
But I'm afraid none of them are as pretty as you.
For someone so young, you sure have a way with work.
I'm only telling the truth. Look me in the eyes. You'll see I'm not lying. May we have a word in private?
Who are you?
And it doesn't matter who I am. Too many of her kind have fallen lately, so I decided to take... Not long ago, the rerir of Solnari led an assault on one of our strongholds.
Sorry, I don't know why you're telling me this. And
Wait, hear me out.
This time we fought. His name is Rerir. And he claims to be...
What did you say?
A cruel irony, isn't it? The man you're set to marry leads a double life as a brutal executioner. But surely, you must have caught a whiff of the blood on his hands.
Why are you telling me all of this now?
Simple. It's because...
How strange. Rerir was nowhere to be seen in that memory. It clearly belonged to the Lindis. Rerir couldn't possibly know what happened if he wasn't even there. Why would her memories appear in his fragment? The ceremony won't last much longer.
Hay nhỉ, bạn xâm nhập vào tâm trí thằng Rerir hay đấy. Bạn hay đấy.
So that was your doing? Did you just...
Any more questions and I'll have to start charging.
I had no idea you could do that, boss!
Wow.
Seriously, that was amazing! I gotta admit though, I'm itching to see what happens next.
I'm just as curious as you are. But the ceremony only allows for limited time inside. That's all we can see for now. Luckily, we managed to learn quite...
So far, so good. I just hope especially the group with the Traveler. Their mission is a...
If you're worried about them, go see how they're...
If I know boss, she's gonna need some time to run.
Okay. Yeah, team này sôi nổi vậy. Yeah, cố lên. Nhắn nhiều thế. Gì này? Ôi da, sao nhiệm vụ lại bị chiếm dụng bởi cái gì đó? Điểm phục khao dưới ánh trăng. Thôi mẹ làm này nữa thì hết ngày à? Lời cầu nguyện của sự nghiệp, thôi mở đi.
Oh, they've been prowling around for nearly 2 days now. These things just won't quit. They might not have seen us yet, but them constantly sweeping the area. Our way out is... Oh, that's never gonna work. If they spot us, they'll run straight back to Rerir. And once he knows we're... guess... Quick, hide! We almost got spotted! Phew! That was a close call. Watch out! They're coming this way! Keep going. We're nearly there. This is the final hurdle. Oh, there's no end to these things.
Còn đường nào khác không? Rồi, bị phát hiện rồi. Đánh nhau thôi. Này ngoài đông đấy, đánh không nhanh, gọi thằng Rerir đấy nó to ấy.
Fire.
Lửa. Có người tiếp cứu à?
Fire? Wait, what's that smell?
Cái này bị
Oh
cháy rồi.
no, there's a fire!
Dùng lửa đốt hả? Có người đến tiếp cứu rồi. Sao ra không chắc con đã bị. Oh, Alekino. Ngầu thế. Pha bao ra ngầu đấy. Bật luôn cả hai cánh luôn.
Zandrone was right. You look weak.
Con ngồi ghế luôn nha. Nhất trị luôn rồi đấy. Nè, pha bao ra thế này đây.
The old you would never have let such lowly creatures bar your way.
Ngầu đấy.
Word has it that you did something for the Tsaritsa, and that's why you've lost most of your power. Freedom comes at a heavy price, doesn't it?
Chị đứng lên chị nói cũng được mà, cần phải ngồi kinh vậy.
Hello again, Columbina. And greetings, guests of the House of the Hearth.
Ngầu đét luôn.
It's been a while.
Aura farming kinh khủng. Ui, mặt này, mặt ghét chưa? Rồi, may móc đều đấm hết rồi.
Stupid rerir of stupid Solnari. Whatever. I've got all the data I need. Next time we meet, you'll... he sure doesn't pull his punches.
Excuse me, do you...
You can do me a favor by staying out of my way. Wait a minute.
Hello, Miss Sandrone. Father sent us over to help.
How considerate of her. Hey, Fremine, get over here and help me fix this. Lenny, you do your thing. Just keep your sister away from my machines. Nearly every machine that cat girl touches ends up going haywire. Go put her on cleaning duty or something.
Đi qua nhà đi. Dỗi. Dỗi rất ghét.
Then let's start downstairs. Fremine, we'll leave this place to you.
You've got it.
Wait a second. Pretty sure there's still some tea in the cupboard. If you want some, you'll have to make it yourselves.
Chai nào thì pha nhỉ? Tử tế nha. Thang máy à? Cái gì?
Busted.
Gather.
Gotcha. Things are about to get dicey. My apologies. Whirling snow.
This is order. Stabilize.
Busted. My apologies. Embrace the ice. Collecting rare and exquisite treasures. Yes, this seems suitably sophisticated.
Ô, lại dương nữa kìa. Này không tiêu diệt không được.
Solidify.
Here comes the catch. Shot's over. If we bury it, maybe it'll spring back to life.
Ô, lại dương nữa. Nhiều dương quá.
Order guide you.
Things are about to get dicey.
Stabilize.
If we bury it, maybe it'll spring back to life.
It's a relief to see you all made it back in one piece.
Huh? Feels like there's quite a few people missing.
I returned ahead of them. Flint is helping Aino and Anefa to set up the deep.
Boss is still wrapping things up on her end. She sent us...
I see. Then let's get right into... But first, who do we have here? You brought someone else in to help?
Greetings. I was invited here to help as a longtime Tea Party
Surely it can't be.
Those eyes. Oh, where have I seen them before? Wait, of course. In those memories we...
The only Arlecchino I know is the fourth of the Fatui Harbingers.
You are well informed, Grandmaster. A man from Mondstadt living all the way out here in Nodcry, and...
Oh, the feeling's mutual. Sounds like you know all about who I am.
A Fatui Harbinger.
Fatui Harbinger.
The atmosphere in here just got really tense. Guess we can't just start trusting Fatui Harbingers, even at a time like this.
I must admit, though, I'm a little curious. Seeing as the moon goddess no longer
Nor does Nodcry belong to Mondstadt, Mr. Varka. Yet still, things don't always have to have a tangible payoff. Sometimes, stopping things from spiraling out of control is a higher priority than chasing the spoils of victory. Of course, I can't say there's nothing in it for me at all. But that's between Columbina and myself.
Forgive me. I don't mean to doubt you. We have our own way of doing things here in Nodcry. But
I know there's been a lot of bad blood between us in the past. I've done my utmost to avoid friction whenever I could. But sometimes that's why I'm here solely in a personal capacity. As a gesture of good faith, I'll be frank. I can help Columbina track down the iridescent moon's marrow, which will help her restore more Anyway, what else is on the agenda? Let's begin.
She says she'll be frank, then completely skips over the details. Looks like she doesn't want to give, but she clearly wants to change the subject. It'd be awkward if I tried to bring it up again now. I guess we'll just have to go along with it. She's the fourth of the...
Lườm luôn. Lườm bắt sợ ngay. Con này tấu hài vậy.
Well, since Miss Arlecchino sounds confident in her ability to handle that, we'll proceed to the next...
All right, listen up, everyone. First...
The dregs of the Crimson Moon.
In the memories, there was a lot of talk about the Crimson Moon and...
To my knowledge, those were the names of long ago. It is said that the people of Conria worshipped the Crimson Moon, drawing a mysterious power from its reflection. But one day, a coup saw the Crimson Moon eclipsed.
Still, long after the Crimson Moon dynasty had fallen, the last ruler of the Eclipse dynasty, the Vinster King, still coveted the secret. In those days, Rerir showed no signs of madness. In fact, what's the matter?
Stephanie, granddaughter.
Cái đó hiện là tiên tri đúng không? Vai Doctor như là con gâu đấy hả? Con gâu mẹ của Amedo.
Interesting. Anything else? What about...
Well, she was a researcher at the university.
Oh, and one more thing. For some reason, Rerir...
Well, no shortage of potential leads, I'll give you that. The Lindis, it seems, must have been the one thing in this world that he couldn't let go of. Tell me, though, were these...
Why do you need to know that? Hold on. If she was a pure-blood Conrian... Oh yeah! Just like how it would...
If we could somehow find her, do you think...
It's possible. But it would take a miracle. That merchant who never knows. Dori Sangama Bay.
All right, then. Let's keep working in our separate teams. Traveler, Paimon, Kutar, and Miss Arlecchino. As for the others...
On the way over here, I noticed that the wild hunt monsters had... At this rate, the people living here will be in grave danger too.
I'll head back to the curatorium and meet up with...
Feels good knowing we've all got something to be getting on with. Given that the wild hunt has been a lot more active lately, the Lightkeepers have likely begun their own operations. I'll hold the fort for now. Then discuss our next move with Flints, Aino, and Anefa when they get back.
All right then.
Well, the clock's ticking. If that's everything, we'll be on our way.
We'd better get moving too. We'll try to buy you as much time as we can.
Relax. Just do your thing. Now, I decided to stay safe, everyone. Just...
We're back. Did we get here a little early? Or a little late?
Late.
A tad late. The others have already set off. To summarize, everything going smoothly?
Not great. I don't know how long we can stall them for. I'm gonna make some more later, but I need a timeout first. I'm so tired right now. Oh, right. Anefa, could you fill in Uncle Varka?
Sure. Uncle Varka, you previously told us about how when you went to investigate a source of the wild hunt in Amsvartnir, you discovered that it was just a diversion. But according to Flintz's intel, several outbreaks of the wild hunt had already occurred in Nodkrai in the period leading up to that. That was before Rerir had regained his body, when he was far from regaining his full strength. In other words, in theory at least, he still lacked the means to act in two places at once.
Flintz, with everything that's been happening, the Lightkeepers across Nodkrai are... I know, I'm sure you're capable of coming up with something far more effective than decoy. And Anefa and I will head back over to Amsvartnir to see if there's anything I missed.
I told you Uncle Varka would say that, didn't I? A deal is a...
Database updated. Reliability of Aino...
What does that mean? It's the obvious choice, isn't it? That's hardly worth betting on.
We already decided that Anefa should go investigate the situation over at Amsvartnir on her own. You might as... Someone needs to hang back and oversee our strategy meetings. And besides...
So I've ended up with the easiest assignment.
Okay. Cho đến lúc bắt ca ra tay đâu. Sạch trong bàn. Arlecchino, nhìn gian chưa?
Here, this will serve as a good spot to cross over.
Arlecchino, hold up a second. Since you brought us all this way, would you mind? We still haven't got the slightest idea what's going on here. And if even Columbina doesn't know where the iridescent...
Simple. Because I am an inheritor of the royal bloodline of the Crimson Moon. And one of the last surviving embers of the two worlds' flames.
Huh? Are you serious?
Your surprise is understandable. I was also taken aback, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized. When I was young, I discovered I could wield a very special kind of fire. It coursed like blood through my veins. And what's more, whenever I experienced strong bursts of emotion or drew... Exactly. That is why my hands are like this, too. At first, I saw it only as a curse. Together with my own investigations over the past few years, there are, for instance, take the so-called Crimson Moon. In truth, it is nothing more than the shattered remnants of the iridescent moon, fused with the abyss to prolong its lifespan. Since this blood flame was bestowed upon me by the Crimson Moon, it is a fusion of the iridescent moon's former power and the corruption of the abyss. You all understand the nature of the abyss well enough. I draw upon its power, and in return, it hungers for my soul.
If I recall correctly, you once told me that if the corruption ever...
Yes. And that's the reason I'm always careful not to push my power too far. It's essentially a never-ending tug of war. Anyway,
The rest of my story can wait. Is there anything else?
Paimon has a question. So, the Crimson, does that mean that the Kanrians were to the Crimson Moon as the Frost Moon Scions are?
So much of that history has been lost. We have no way of knowing exactly what they were like, but I would suspect that the Conrians weren't as devout in their moon worship as it might appear. The iridescent moon's remains simply served as their link to the Abyss. Later on, perhaps someone discovered a way to make direct contact with the Abyss. Or maybe there was some kind of ideological divide. Either way, a dissenting faction staged a coup and drove out the royal heirs of the Crimson Moon dynasty. Still, even with the dark sun looming high overhead, the Crimson Moon's glow never truly faded. If you want living proof, it's...
The first time we met, I sensed something familiar when I looked at you. I felt I could see that mysterious red moon in the corner of my...
Well, I appreciate that you kept it to yourself. Much about the Crimson Moon is still a... Anyway, time is against us here, so if there's... I just want to make sure I've got one thing straight. In her letter, Sandrone mentioned that since you are unable to contain the iridescent moon's marrow yourself, you intend to leave it in my custody.
That's right. For now, it's the only way I can pay you back for your help. The iridescent moon is already part of who you are. So with its marrow in your possession, you'll be even more powerful than before.
Deal. Then let's get started.
Get what started?
When I first became a Harbinger, the Jester gave me a book called Paranhari, also known as Leobranto Inamorato. You should be able to buy a copy next time you're in Fontaine. It's a love story set in the Crimson Moon era, but setting aside the tangled romances of its characters. In the Crimson Moon era, or so the story goes, there was an orphanage that received children from beyond the bounds of this world.
Beyond the bounds of this world?
The Crimson Moon sages looked beyond this world for beings with powers that surpassed the gods. But fearing they might lose control, they made these children crawl up a fireplace and kept asking them, "Have you died? Did you see it?" Until they finally admitted to having died and seen a crimson moon. The adults embraced the children who passed the ritual, telling them the book leaves much unsaid. But I suspect that this was their way of branding the children they had enrolled, leaving an indelible mark.
That explains why I can't sense the Crimson Moon's marrow in this world. It makes sense that it would...
There's no fireplace here. Do you see a chimney anywhere?
That won't be necessary. The fireplace is purely symbolic. The key to the ritual is crossing the flames between those burned away by such flames leave behind a kind of ghostly afterimage in the world. In the days of Conry. In short, I can open a passage to... The catch is I'll need to stay on this side to keep the Very well. Then I'll open it.
Traveler, spare me a little more moonlight if you would. Thank you. I feel like I've recovered some of my strength.
Mistress of the seven hues of ages past, great mother of the present, crimson-clad sovereign of the two realms, by fire severed, by fire renewed, I offer myself now and beseech your descent.
Lấy liệpไปluôn. Làm thành một cái cầu. Giữ nha. Chán quá. Trăng ở trên lửa thiêu.
One word of advice. As you're crossing over, no matter what voices you hear, do not answer.
Got it.
I sense a sinister gloom inside. But also, I feel that I am about to meet an old friend who is...
Take it easy. Seismic changes often begin with small windows.
Làm cái này ác nhỉ? Trông cái kiểu đi vào đi ngủ nhỉ? Nước đỏ luôn này. Con này làm đẹp đấy chứ? Màn ba này hay quá nhỉ? Wow. Wow, 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 wow.
I sense your presence and craving death and rebirth. Wait, why are you? You have crossed over from another world, transcended fate itself. I have no right to.
Fragments of your broken body, seized by the abyss, and hung up aloft like mummified remains. Iridescent moon, was this truly what you wished for?
Careful! There's something spooky about this place. But Haimon's right behind you. By the way, Kalambina, didn't you tell us that the iridescent moon had shattered into pieces? The moon up there looks pretty whole to Paimon. How is that possible?
Gather! Quietly now.
Rồi, cái này đấy. Đây, phần này bị vỡ này.
Just like I thought. It was only a facade.
Nhìn thấy mặt kia thì hoàn chỉnh, nhưng mặt sau thì vỡ nát hết rồi. Đây, không phải để đấy.
I will have order.
Game's up. Fun's over. Gotcha.
Kìa nó vỡ xong nó chảy nước ở trong ra. Mẹ kiếp thật. Dương.
Here comes the catch.
Take flight! Sakura swirl!
Huh? Huh? For real? That's way too high. There's no way we'll be able to reach it.
No. I'm not. It's coming from under the mountain.
Let's see. Ah! There's some kind of weird shadow over the water. Wait, See that? Looks like a mech.
Kia là khai thác sức mạnh của bóng mặt trăng đúng không? Đây mặt trăng bóng đây là khai thác sức mạnh của
Looks like a device from the time of Kalia. Maybe people once came here to study the Crimson Moon's domain, and they left this behind. Oh, if we can activate it, we might find some clues.
Dùng máy bắn vào đây để phá bỏ phong ấn.
Hey, look at that! Now that the mechanism's running, the shadow... Do you think these mechanisms might be the key to unlocking...
Thelindis, we'll leave the rest of the research in your hands. We'll be heading back now.
This isn't ruining date night.
Mind your own business.
Just Thelindis? Is that Rerir's girlfriend? Oh yeah. So, do you think she was studying this strange space all along?
The Abyss has made this space extremely unsafe. Maybe that's why some of the things she said and did.
Whenever I see this view, it takes me back to a poem, Waning Moon. Oh, lifeless damsel, weeping on the mountain crest. Mourning still in wistful tone, her fragile soul now laid to... For me, of all people, to be here investigating the mysteries of the Crimson Moon space. Is it a coincidence? Or something more?
My apologies.
Looks like the Abyss has messed up this mechanism. We need to find a way to get it working again. Let's see if there are any other devices nearby.
Order guide you. Solidify.
Kamisato art. Sumetsu. Take flight.
Đừng thể hiện số ghê nhỉ. Cái này là cái kia. Ok. Nhắn dữ vậy. Hai cái là xong. Một cái nữa thôi.
I see. So the moon marrow, or rather the power of the three moons, is the key to unlocking... Really does exist, then maybe this madness can finally be put to an end.
What? Cứ từ quan trọng đến xem á. Tiếp nhỉ. Chẳng tiếp bãi.
Take cover behind the rocks!
With the Abyss inhibitors in place, I should be able to access... Oh, Rerir. With every step you take, you're drifting further from what you truly desire. But you're not the root of the problem. Ever since that outsider set foot in Conria, the Vinster King has sunken deeper into madness. If only I could get my hands on that outsider.
Outsider. Vừa nói về gì về nhà Lan này thì chắc là Lan trong sinh rồi.
Hey look! The moon's reflection is back to normal! Elendis' voice mentioned a chamber with the moon marrow.
It must be. For within it, I sense the fragile aura of a dying soul.
Then there's no time to lose! Let's go!
Take it easy.
Trường tồn như ánh trăng.
These things are so creepy! Oh, looks like we'll have to destroy them if we want to get to the iridescent moon's marrow. That must be the iridescent moon's marrow! Oh, we'll need to destroy these things before we can reach it!
Cái lỗ này trông giống ở dưới chỗ gì à? Bụi đá sâu đúng không? Bụi đá sâu có mấy cái lỗ rồi này. Sức mạnh sâu ăn mòn tạo thành cái lỗ như này. Giống kiếp vậy.
Gather!
Things are about to get dicey.
Cái mất con này là đánh xuyên giáp nhỉ? À.
My apologies.
This is order. Solidify.
Whirling snow.
Here comes the catch.
My apologies.
Busted. Things are about to get dicey.
I will have order.
Sakura swirl. Take flight.
The iridescent moon's marrow, still burning away like an undying flame, yet now contaminated by the abyss. It has taken on a new form entirely. If we can purify the abyssal power within, we should be able to obtain its untainted.
để tôi xử lý. Sao? Đỏ lòm luôn.
It's so cold.
Quá.
Is it you?
Sao em đến rồi à?
Huh? At long last, I can see you once more. I'm sorry. I lied to you. Even knowing what was to come, I still couldn't let go of the fear in my... The moment the moon shattered, my body began to split apart piece by piece. But tell me, what was it that brought you to us all that time ago? If only I had possessed your courage. That you look so puzzled. But trust me when I say that everything happens for a reason. Farewell, Hypo.
Tức là linh hồn còn nói lại mấy câu trong tôi.
What was that all about? Was it? It sounded like she was speaking to a long-lost friend.
Perhaps. She took me for the goddess of the frost moon she once knew. For a fading soul like hers, our auras must...
But anyway, we've got the iridescent moon's marrow now. All right, time to leave this place and...
Thế là ba chị em mặt trăng này, hai đứa kia thì chết, còn con này sợ chết quá nên bám vào vực sâu để
That's odd. This place looks different than when we came in.
Waning moon. Huh? Oh, lifeless damsel.
Oh. Hurry! The place is collapsing!
It wants to trap us here.
Who's it? The abyss?
Now we've taken the moon marrow. All that's left here is a dark will. It will show us no mercy. Give it back! The crimson moon's my marrow! My heart!
của nhà đúng không?
Finally! Huh? Oh no! The exit's blocked!
Rồi sao? Nó chỉ rồi rồi, đi.
Now what do we do?
This is where you fall. Witness my rise. What are you waiting for?
Chị Alex này đầu hết à? Toàn cứu lúc shot thôi. Hay quá nhỉ? Chơi phần 3 là chơi hay quá. Bài 1 chơi hơi buồn ngủ, mà từ khi thằng rerir nó xuất hiện phát chơi hay à?
Oh, wait, was that you, Arlecchino? Did you
Hey,
your hands?
Oh, this? Don't worry. It's a small price to pay. The Abyss wanted to trap you inside, and I defied its will by bringing you out. No wonder it's a little angry. No. I have paid the price, albeit a small one, and it cannot be undone. My hands have already fused with the Abyss. Purification would simply...
But surely... Oh...
As much as I'd like to call it a favor, the truth is, I was simply holding up my...
Yes, you did your part. And as promised, I will leave the iridescent moon's marrow in your care.
I'll take that as a blessing. Now, call it...
Ok, thế là có đủ 3 mặt trăng rồi đúng không? Có hồng nguyệt rồi. Hồng nguyệt, sương nguyệt, cả một cái gì đó nguyệt nữa rồi nhỉ? Đúng rồi.
Feeling stronger?
Sao thế?
Hey, Columbina, are you...
I'm fine. Our powers...
By the Frost Moon's authority alone, wielding the power of the other moons was always going to be a stretch. Still, I think it's fair to say that your
It's still not enough. There's no way I can hope to challenge rerir like this. Just one more ray of moonlight, if you would. It's okay. I can...
How about now? Fighting fit?
At the very least, I won't have to stay hidden like before. I want to see him gone from Not Cry. The rerir of Solnari and his wild hunt must be sent back where they...
Well, it's good to have something to aim for. When I first met you, you didn't strike me as a ray of moonlight. More like a wisp of fog drifting, but now... You're full of vitality. Just like the Frost Moon, once the brightest of them all. May you keep shining, Columbi.
Thank you. Look after yourself too, Arlecchino. I know you have plans of your own, and that's why you're... But whatever you're after, don't let the Abyss take a hold of you. I do not wish to see you go down the same path as rerir.
I appreciate the concern, Columbina.
I know, Nick.
Kutar, the Moon Maiden, Columbina. We often use code names in the House of the Hearth, too. But it's knowing your real name that keeps you grounded. All I'll say is this. Once you've defeated rerir... All right, that's it from me. I'll get you... I appreciate the gesture. It speaks to your good character.
Ok, hết bàn 3.
It was a close call, but we got the iridescent moon's marrow and restored Columbina's strength. And that's all that matters. In other words...
Ok, đến bài ca ánh trăng, bài ca 0.4 rồi. Thôi bài này, phần này để mai chơi nhá, giờ muộn rồi. Giờ đi ngủ đã. Nói chung là phần 3 hay đấy. Phần 3 chơi rất hay, cuốn hơn hẳn cái phần đầu tiên. Cái phần đầu tiên là phần buồn ngủ nhất. Xong rồi cái màn 2 bắt đầu đánh làm L'Oreal nữa thì hấp dẫn hơn. Xong sang phần 3 này thực sự hay này. Ok, để mai tối mai đi. Tối mai cũng tầm khoảng 8 rưỡi 9 giờ. Tiếp tục mà bài ca không nguyệt phần 4 nhá. Bây giờ đi ngủ đã. Rồi, thôi nhá, xin chào nhá. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ngày mai nhá.